Hi my loves, how's it going? How you guys doing? Welcome if you're new, welcome back. If you've seen me before, it's time for a project pattern update and I'm super excited for this one too. I've been working really well with focusing in on specific products and that's really been helping me get a lot of these products up and use. And also I've been doing makeup for well over half the months of the last several months as well, which is again another thing that's really helping me with using some of these products up. I do have a few MTs, so let's just roll right into the update. As I mentioned, I do have two MTs and I'm super excited for both of these. This highlighter, I didn't actually realize how little I had left. And that is purely because so much of the inside of this was basically done, but there was so much product just on the outsides of this. And I didn't really realize that. So I think that's one thing I really need to pay a little bit more focus in on. And that is just making sure that if there's a product like this, I'm not just like using a product on the inside. I'm either using a product around the outside too, or at least then just trying to like keep a better eye on how much product I have left basically. But this is a empty for me. I'm not really keen on repurchasing this. This was the shade Nova Nights and I'm really glad that I finished this up. It is a Made by Mitchell like liquid product. I'm not a biggest fan of liquid products because I have to use a lot of powder anyway to use my foundation in place. So I then tend to avoid using too much powder because powder on top of like liquid or liquid on top of powder sometimes doesn't really gel too well. Um, yeah, and I just wasn't the biggest fan of these, but I'm glad I got to use this up anyway, and I'm literally down to my last two, so hopefully those can both be empties at some point this year because it'll be a nice way to wrap up all of my liquid highlighters. Another empty I have is this Colourpop Just a Tint in the shade Z Boy. So this is what it's looking like now. I can only roll this down so you can see there, but there's nothing else that rolls up. Like that's all the product in here. I actually really like this. It's a really nice like sort of moisturizing formula and I really enjoyed this. I would probably go back out and buy these again, but I wouldn't do that anytime soon. I wouldn't because it's Colourpop and it's really hard to get in the UK. I would only do a purchase once I knew that I was going to do a big purchase. Otherwise, I'm just going to make a list of everything that I kind of want and then just wait off on this. But this I actually really enjoyed. I also really like the color of this. It was really nice, like um tint, and I could build this up a little bit and it would work really, really well. And I found it really moisturizing too. So I tended to use up a lot of this product and it worked as a good way to like as like a replacement for lip balm for me too. So I was happy with that. And I'm also really happy that it's been a long time since I've last panned a lip crayon, so that's also really exciting for me because all the other times my inventory has only gone down because I've decluttered. So this is an empty. I'm really happy that's an empty. I will kind of miss the shade because it was a really beautiful formula and shade, but I have something else replaced instead, so that's fine. Let's talk about the one item I did not use and I'm kind of really gutted that I didn't, and that is my palette. I don't know what happened. I genuinely do not know what happened. I sort of haven't touched this palette. This is what it's looking like now anyway. There are £3 in here, which is great. I do feel like I can have a couple more pans in here. And I changed my goal initially from panning the entire thing to now hitting 50 uses. I have so far got only 5 uses in this whole palette, which really isn't that great. But I have found another way or another product to sort of go along with this for me to then use it a little bit more than I'm currently using it. But I'm not really sure why I haven't used it so far since the last update. Um, so I think I have my work cut out for me with this product again, but that's actually no, I remember why, because I'm panning a couple of other eyeshadows, so I'm focusing on those. But that's okay. I do want to bring some more attention back into this palette because I do actually love the color story for this, and it is a pretty decent formula, even though this palette is like close to 6 years old, and I love a good movie palette, so I really need to get back into this. I rolled in a single eyeshadow to go along with that palette, and this is the shade, I think, Egg Hunt from Glaminatrix Cosmetics. I really love their formula and I really love their products, but this I decided to roll in because I feel like it was good enough to add like a good amount of like shimmer and brightness to some of the other shades that are a little bit more on the deeper side in the palette. But also this eyeshadow, for whatever reason, was crumbling all over, and I've not had that issue with any of the other shades except for this one, so I really wanted to just pull it out and kind of try and use it. Since I rolled it in last month, I've only used it once, which is a little bit disappointing, but I'm also trying not to like worry about it or stress too much because these are long-term products. I know I'm not going to get that much use out of them. Ideally, I would love to just like use up the entire thing. I think I could do that, but that'll also take a long time. But it would be really nice to also maybe hit 50 uses or even hit pan in this product because it's been a long time since I've actually hit pan in a single eyeshadow, so that'll be really fun. The last eye product I have is this eye pencil from NYX. This is the shade Frosted Lilac, and I have made slow, steady progress on this, which is great because at least there is progress being made. I still feel like I can probably use this up, but I do have about 5 maybe eye pencils that I kind of want to finish up, which is a lot, but I have made a good amount of progress on this regardless. So I will still show you guys that progress. So this is where I was, sorry, that is where I was when I pulled the pencil into the project, and as you can see here, I've made steady progress along, and that is where I am now. So there is a bit of a difference between last update and this update, but it would be really nice to just focus in on this a little bit more and use it up. I don't think it's going to go all the way down to the bottom, so I probably will end up finishing about here, maybe where some of these letters sort of almost end, and I think that would definitely take me a good, I want to say 6 months, because I'm trying to like use a few different eye pencils. There was one that I was panning, which I think I'm gonna just stop because it's not even part of one of my project plans. So I'm gonna just push that to the side and kind of focusing on some of the other ones that I want to pan up and see. But I think maybe 6 months and I could be done with this. I'll move over to sort of face product, sorry, and I'll talk about the product that I've had since the beginning, which is this Morphe highlighter in the shade Extra. One thing I regret about this is not actually doing total ink usage since the start, because I think that would have been a really good indicator to see how much I'm using this, because I do feel like I do use it a decent amount, and it would have been a good way to see how much uses I'm getting that are then reflecting how much product is being used up. This is where we are right now. This is very much a slow and steady sort of situation. My goal is to basically continue hitting pan here and then using this product here, because I feel like that's how I'm really going to expand the pan. I have used up and I have flattened a lot of this sort of part here, which is really nice, and those are the two sort of places that I'm focusing on. This corner here, I'm using this brush and I use it on my inner corner, which is fantastic. And then this is the actual highlighter brush that I have, so I'll like pick it up here and then put it on my cheeks, and I have had fun with this. I do think it's one of my like favorite go-to highlighters. I will definitely miss this when it's gone. I think that's all one of the things that like stopping me from actually fully using it up. This is my oldest highlighter. They don't make these highlighters anymore. I mean, I feel like this is one of the more like iconic items that they sort of had originally too, aside from their eyeshadow palettes. But I do feel like this highlighter is a really good one. So part of me is like, um, I want to use it up because it's the oldest and I want to pan my other highlighters. But then a part of me is like, no, it's kind of my oldest, so I don't really want to use it up. But realistically, I would like to use it up because I think I've had it since 2020, if not maybe 2021. But I think it's more like 2020 because that's sort of when I sort of initially discovered Morphe as a brand. But there is progress. It's just a little bit slower because I have some other products focusing on. But maybe I'll do like a 1 month focus use on this and see sort of the progress I can make in that way. I rolled in the Colourpop bronzer in the shade Summerland Beach in February, and I actually really enjoy this bronzer. I think it's a really nice colour. I'm wearing it today as well, so on my forehead, cheeks, and underneath here as well. Not sure why, I just feel like it kind of helps with framing the face a little bit more. And I have made progress on this. The one thing I will say is this packaging is rubbish, so I can see why they decided to discontinue it from this packaging and then repackage the entire product, because one, it's giant, it's bulky, but two, this product actually cracks. So this is where we are right now. But whenever there's bits stuck on those like grid parts, the chunks just fall out, no matter how much I try to sort of like be as gentle as I can and use what I can in here. So that part of this is quite frustrating, but it does also mean that I have used up a lot of this product already. I really wasn't anticipating hitting pan as soon as I did, because this is an 8 gram product, so I thought this would be something that lasts me a while and I won't be able to see pan as soon as I did. But I think I just forget that the larger the pan shape is, the less thickness the pan will be. So then it is going to be easier to use up a product. I just kind of like, I don't have a specific way that I hit my brush in here, but I tend to like focus it more in like the middle one, and I kind of just like, use it as I go. But my brush will kind of go like this. I don't like push it down like this, if that makes sort of sense. I'm really bad at like explaining things, but I have made progress on this. I do like this. I would really love to pan this by the end of the year. I'm not the biggest bronzer person, but I use it because I have it. It definitely does add a bit of like dimension and sort of more color to your face. So I'm not really in the market for like loads of bronzers, but it would be nice to use up the ones that I have and then maybe find like slightly better shades, considering I have a bit more of a better idea of what I like versus what I don't like. So that'd be kind of nice, but also maybe use some of the browns that I have in like as singles or maybe in palettes as bronzer too, because why not? In March, I rolled in another Flower Nose product. I am not specifically intending to pan those, but I just feel like a lot of the sort of fit the category, and so I rolled them in. This is the only one powder that I had from the brand, and I brought it in because the packaging is really bulky compared to some of the other product I initially had, but since then I feel like some of the others are a little bit bulky anyway, so that is something I've got to work on. But I really, really love how pretty the packaging is, and I really wanted to use this up. So I decided to roll it in here, and to be fair, I've actually made a lot of good progress in this. I do use a lot of powder, so it kind of makes sense, but I still did not think I'd hit pan as soon as I did. And I think the update last month is where I hit pan. So this is where we are right now. Like, there is definitely a lot of progress in here. The sides are a bit more like fuller, but in the middle I've definitely made a lot of progress. It just seems easier for me to hit the brush here, and that's sort of what I've been doing. But I do have ways to go with this. I'm not the biggest fan of the packaging in this, just because I do feel like it's not like stuck into the pan properly. Like, there's some products that do not fall out even if you keep hitting pan, but then there's some products that even if you hit pan like this sort of start crumbling, and this is what I found with this one. And I won't be repurchasing it again. I just did like those two really large purchases from Flower Nose, and that's how I ended up with this product. So I honestly can't wait to finish this up. I had rolled in two products last month, and one of them is a face duo from Elf, and I've used it 4 times since the start. So I actually was really excited to use this one the most because the highlighter works really well for me. It's more matching my skin tone, and I really love a blush shade like this. I'm wearing this today and I have really enjoyed it, and I paired this up with my Charlotte Tilbury Amber Gold single shadow that I'm trying to also like get a couple of uses in as part of my Beauty Aid Set project pan. I'm really liking this. I do love this shade though. I do wish more brands sort of made this shade, especially in the UK. I know there's a lot of brands in America that do provide or have somewhat shades like this. I did kind of franken a shade like this, so I will probably end up using that one up when I feel like it after this one, once it's completely gone. But this is nice and I do enjoy it. This is definitely something I know that I'm going to get a lot of use out of in the summertime, which does mean that I think this month is probably the last time that I'm going to get the most use out of my cool tone products, and then I will probably start doing more warm tone looks like this just because summer, isn't it? But I'll see. I do think that this I can pan quite quickly. The blush I wouldn't be surprised if I hit pan quite soon because my brush is a bit dense. But so far I'm enjoying this one, but we'll see how it goes further down the line. I rolled in another face palette, but this time it's from Flower Nose Chocolate Shop collection. So this one, I was really confused about what I wanted to do with this, but I think I've kind of got a bit of better direction. So that's good. But also thank you to everybody who commented on my last update on this and gave me ideas on what to do with this palette. I always appreciate the feedback too because it helps me decide when I'm really confused on what I'm doing. But this is the palette now. There is some progress in here. The main thing I've been using is this shade, to be fair, and aside from that is the powder. Really, those are the two like used items in here. And then occasionally when I feel like it, I remember I'll use this highlighter. And I think I'm gonna just mainly stick to within this project pan. I'm gonna just focus on this shade here. I have used this 10 times, I think. Yeah, 10 times since the last update, which is really, really good, or at least since I last rolled it in. And every single time I have used this shade, along those 10 uses, I have used the powder highlighter and maybe this shade twice. So the rest of the palette is getting used, but it's not the focus in this. This is going to be the focus, and I will say the focus, and the other shades, if I can use them up while I'm using this, I like one item in here, fantastic, why not? But I think that's what I'm going to stick to. It's an okay product. I just, again, not something that I would go back and buy, but I think I need to focus in on this one a little bit more than I have been. But again, with times when I do my warm tone looks, this is definitely not going to get used because I only ever pull this in when I do something really cool toned. So we'll see how like the rest of the progress goes with this. I actually forgot to mention another product I've had in the product pants since the start, and this is this Flower Nose blush. I know this is getting a bit ridiculous. I have so many Flower Nose products in here, but I honestly have so many items from Flower Nose as well as Colourpop. So eventually you guys will just really be seeing those two brands, I guess, chucked into this project pan. And last month I think I showed you guys that I had hit pan in this product, but I really want to just emphasize the fact that this blush was never really the correct shade for me. This was made with a lot more white base, which means it's too pale for me to use, so I had to use a lot more than somebody who's fairer than me would have to use. And that's how I've been sort of panning this. I've had to use a lot more of this to even show up on my skin or to give some form of color. Otherwise it just looks like an oddly shaded powder, but it doesn't look like a blush and it looks really odd. So I had to like pack on a lot more than what you would normally do with a blush. So the progress in here versus the amount of times I've used this product doesn't match up, and it's for that particular reason. But this is also a really good learning point for me, and that is to avoid blushes that have too much white base in them and too much white pigment in it, because it's not really going to work for me, and it's not worth me maybe spending that kind of money, because I'm going to need to use too much of that product for it to work on me. That all being said, I have a really exciting update with this, and to be fair, I could have made even more progress, but I feel like this is a good place for me to stop. And since last update, I have repressed this too, which I think that kind of shows how much progress I'm making. But this is where I am now. I have the tiniest amount left. I think maybe 2-3 uses and I will literally be done with this, because I'm having to pack on so much of this product on my face for it to show up. And I have been using this one as a main blush whenever I do my cool tone looks. It's really rare for me to grab any of my other blushes whenever I'm leaning towards any cool tone like makeup items that I'm planning on using, and this has been the go-to product. Since last update, I have used 11 new times, and I think that just goes to show how many makeup days that I'm having when I'm mainly focusing in on this product. So altogether so far it's like 29. I think I have a couple of uses here and there that I'm missing because I'm not that good with keeping on top of like all of that sort of stuff, but hopefully I can get better the more I'm sort of doing this. But I am really enjoying this product. I could have tried to focus in on this and finish this, but the last couple of days I haven't really used makeup because I've not been sleeping well, I've not been taking care of myself and stuff like that. And if I had pulled in a few more makeup days, I would have had this done, but that's okay. I really wasn't wanting to have to like roll in too many products this update, because sometimes it just gets really difficult like finding products to roll in, even though I have so many items. So like it shouldn't really be hard, but sometimes it just gets a lot making that decision. But I think for next update this should be gone, and I'll be really happy for this to go. But I have another blush I want to roll into this project pan, but that's part of my other project pan, so I need to finish the goals on that one first, and then so I can roll it in here. And I think that's also why it sort of stopped me from finishing this product. But to be fair, I could have rolled anything else. But I do prefer, if I've used up a blush, I want to roll in another blush to sort of like make sure that I'm going through my categories as well. But yeah, this is literally all that there is left. Maybe 3 uses, and I think this will be done. And I can't wait, because that'll be a first like blush product I've used up properly in over a year. My head is all over the place. I actually forgot to update you guys on this too, but this is one of the liquid blushes that I've been focusing on. I didn't make a new line, but basically the product sort of is still there, but I know I've used this up quite a bit, so actually it's not really that much, but there's no way for me to make another line. But I have been using this one quite regularly, and I do get a good couple of uses, at least 3 every single month is like the bare minimum I'll be getting. But it's more like, I want to say like maybe 5 to 6. So this one is the other main blush that I'm using when I'm not using my flower nose one that I just showed you guys. There is great progress on this. I do think that maybe by the end of the summer this can be done, which will be amazing, because that'll be my first ever liquid blush that I've used up in a very long time again. And I'm really looking forward to that, because it'll be nice to get my blush inventory down, though I might need to live 5 lifetimes for me to use up everything that I have. That is another story, but I have made really good progress on this, and I just hope that I can continue with the progress that I'm making. But it is a little bit tricky, because now I have this one, and then I have this one that I also want to use up during the summertime. So we'll see who wins out of these two. My last 3 products that I want to update you guys on are all lip products. The first one I want to talk about is my Dior lip oil, and I roll this in just to sort of have this done. This is something I've had since, I want to say, 2021, maybe 2022, so it's old now, and I don't want this around for this long. I have made progress, so that is where I was when I rolled in, and this is where I'm at now, which is great because there has been progress in here, and I love that for me. But there isn't actually that much lip oil left. It's just because the dough foot is so thick that it just pushes the gloss up around it. This also is a very heavily overhyped item, and if I could go back, I wouldn't buy this one again. It's just okay for me. It disappears really fast. It doesn't really do much for my lips. I'm not the biggest fan. It's definitely overpriced as well for what it's worth, but that is the price you're paying if you're going to buy something from a designer brand, I suppose. But this is not something that, it's cute. I love it. It's very like feminine. It's very like bougie. It's very like, I'm losing the words to sort of describe it, but it's not practical, and it doesn't work for me. So I am hoping that the next update I can have this done, and I'm pretty sure I will, because then I'll use this a little bit more, and that'll be really good. And I can't wait for this one to be done. But yeah, it's just such an overhyped product. Another product that I have and I've been using for some time is my Kaleidos lip tonic in the shade Immersion. This is also a very old product, but I rolled this in a little while ago, and I think this works really well with my eyeshadow palette, and it works really well together, so that's why I sort of roll this in. So whenever I use that eyeshadow palette, I always use this. But one thing I've also done is, aside from using this palette, I have used it with like other products over the last sort of month and a bit since the last update. So initially, I think when I rolled it in, I was here, and I'm basically down here now. I've used up a lot of product. There's a lot of windowing too. It's going to be a bit tricky for me to show you guys. But what I've ended up focusing in on is trying to clear up as much as I can around the bottle, and there was actually a lot of product there, to be fair, and it worked really well. And I have the tiniest amount left at the bottom. I don't think the one goes all the way to the bottom, and I don't think this is something that I want to like completely clear out, like scrape every last drop, because again, I have so many lip products that I want to get through. But I would like to make some more progress on this before I decide to roll this out. I think I still have the stopper in here, so I could even potentially take the stopper out and get even more product. But the one is still, oh, you can't even see, that's the wrong direction. The one still has a lot of product on it whenever I use it. So yeah, I think maybe another two, pushing it 3 months with this, and then this could be an empty. And I can move on to another liquid lipstick, which I'm actually really excited for because I have a couple of items in mind that I really, really want to pan next. Lastly is this Victoria Beckham lipstick in the shade Pout, and I had a really difficult time at the start and I wasn't really using it. I think the first 2 months I had made zero progress, but I finally have made progress. So this is what the shade looks like. I actually really like this lipstick, and I would definitely pick this one up again. I love the shade of this, and I love the formula too. I know it's more on the expensive side, but every time I've used it, I've really enjoyed it. So once I kind of use up a little bit more of my pinky lipsticks, which I don't really have that many of, strangely, I will then go back out and buy this one again. I have made a tiny bit of progress. I did take it with me to a wedding, and since last update, there is a bit of progress. So the purple line was last update, and that new line is where I'm at now. So again, it's been like sort of similar progress each month for the last 2 months, which I'm okay with. It would eventually be nice to fully use this up, and I think I can use it up because I do tend to do some more like pink looks every now and again too. So this would work really, really well. Um, but yeah, I think I'm gonna focus maybe on this one first, and then eventually focusing on this one and have this one done, because I don't want this to expire in my collection and I would rather just use it. But I have enjoyed using this every single time. May means that there is going to be another Eid happening at the end of the month, and again, I'm most likely going to use up this product because I love it so much. And anytime there's like big events like weddings, Eid, I end up using this lipstick because it serves me so well. Since there was two items that I'm rolling out, I am pulling in two new items. Technically, I could have waited or not really rolled anything in, because I did roll in a third project pack like that I'm doing this year. So I don't really need to focus in on too many, but I did decide to roll two in. One of them is a product from my beauty, no, it's from my 50 Shades of Black project pan. That project, I summed up the finale last month, and this is literally all I have left. This is one of my oldest eye pencils, but it's one of the few that I tend to use. This is also something I really want to use up this year because this is literally all I have left. Like that is it. And I think I can do that. So I'm gonna just try and focus in on this one as well as the lilac one that you saw earlier on today. But this one, because it's just this tiny little bit left, and because it's one of the main eyeliners that I tend to gravitate towards anyway, it kind of makes sense for me to just pull it into this project pan and have it done, because I feel like if I don't pull it into the project pan, I will probably not finish it, or I'll probably take longer to finish it than I would do if I just was to focus in on this and maybe like have certain times when I focus on that product. And then the last product is this Colourpop Just a Tint, and this time this is the shade The Strand, and this is a beautiful shade as well. I really do like this too. I will just swatch that for you guys. That's literally what it looks like. It is stunning. It's so nice, and because I love the formula of this, I know it's going to be something that I'm not going to like struggle with using, and I'd want to really enjoy, and I will enjoy really using this. However, I do have so many other lip products that I'm focusing in on, so I don't think I would probably use this, but I just rolled it in for the sake of having an item in here. So I think that over the next month I do have a couple of products that I really want to focus in on anyway, but then eventually I will like focus on this one. But I really do love this, and I think this would be perfect for one of those like no makeup days when I feel like doing like the bare minimum, but I want something on my lips that isn't strong like this, and I think this would be the perfect item. Honestly, if you're looking for something soft, something moisturizing, something just a touch of color, I really do think these Colourpop Just a Tint products are perfect. But that is everything for this project pack update. I can't believe I've stuck to this so well, and I've been doing really well with actually using up the products that I really have. I cannot wait to be done with the blush in this. I think that's super exciting, and just having some more empties, so that'd be fantastic. But that is everything for today, and I guess I'll catch you next month with another update.